I'm Leah Huber, Bonterra's chef and organic life aficionada, and today we're going to talk about slow cooking. We're going to be cooking slow cooked Moroccan lamb.
So we start out by gathering our spices, and I designed this dish actually thinking about what it felt like to walk around, what it smelled like to walk around the vineyards of Bonterra at about this time of year. And there's this really fragrant, the fennel is all kind of going crazy, and there's crushed dried fruit all over the ground from harvest, and the figs are kind of going crazy. So all of those spices, that earthy spice, you'll find all of that in this dish, which is so fun. Then you take that spice mix and sprinkle it over your stew meat, and in this case it's lamb shoulder. You want to pick a cut of meat when you're slow cooking that is really well marbled and that has a lot of connective tissue that will break down and create this really just wonderful fork tender texture over low, slow cooking. Then we're going to heat our pan and drizzle some olive oil in that and get the olive oil nice and hot. And then we're going to add our meat one piece at a time, making sure not to crowd the pan. And the whole idea is that we want to get a really great, awesome brown crust on this meat so that it adds flavor, that crust adds flavor. And yes, you could make a whole slow cooked meal without going through the step of browning on the stovetop, but it adds so much flavor that it's really worth it. So you can see here that this little piece here is sticking, and that just means that it's not quite ready to be turned over yet. So just wait and let the meat tell you when it's ready to be turned over. And while the meat is searing, you want to sear it for about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. You can prep your onions and your garlic and your ginger and your fruit and lemons and get all of that ready. You may think, lemons, strange that we're using whole lemons, but they break down beautifully and are sort of like preserved lemons if you're familiar with that at all. And then once the lamb is browned, we're going to add that just directly to the pot, to the slow cooking pot. And we're going to add then our onions and garlic and ginger to the pan. Cook that for a few minutes, get it all nice and brown, and then deglaze the pan with some Bonterra Sauvignon Blanc and scrape up all those bits that are stuck to the bottom of the pan. That again adds even more flavor to this dish. So we have that nice flavorful crust on the meat, and then this wonderful sort of glaze almost that's happening from deglazing the pan. And we're going to add that to the pot as well. Now this is kind of a fun trick for whole peeled tomatoes, is rather than buying diced tomatoes, which you certainly could do, I actually prefer the sort of rustic chunks that come from cutting up whole tomatoes, and I just use my kitchen shears right in the can. Just cut them up right in the can. And the great thing about kitchen shears is they come apart, so you could clean them real easily. Just throw them in the dishwasher. Then we add the tomatoes to the pot and the chicken broth to the pot, and then add all of our fruit and our lemons to the pot, and then just give it a good stir to mix everything around. Pop the top on and set it to cook at high for about 6 hours, and you have an amazing, amazing meal. You could serve it over bulgur, you could serve it over couscous, but definitely serve it with a glass of Bonterra Zinfandel, because all of those spice notes that I was talking about in the beginning, they all come out with the Bonterra Zin, and it's a great pair with this dish. So enjoy!